going to do this in 10 minutes. All right, everybody. I'm doing this in 10 minutes. How do I view? I never know how to view. All right, week 13 fantasy recap. Worst matchup, Connor versus Alec. No drama. No one cares about either of them. Connor was going to win the whole time. Alec played horrible. Enough said. Me versus Hunter, best matchup. Came down to a very close Monday Night Football game. Insane playoff implications. Me versus Hunter almost knocked one of us out of the playoffs. Insane match. Hunter was crazy cocky. I was, silent but deadly. It was great. Worst injury luck. There's been a lot of controversy regarding worst injury luck and most unlucky this week. I will give worst injury luck to Logan because he did lose Lamar for the rest of at least the regular season, clearly, and that could have won him the week. Not that it really would have mattered if he won, but the Lamar injury could have cost him the week. Most unlucky, though, I will say is Hunter, just because Hunter barely lost to me. It was a huge matchup. He had a lot of buys. He had Njoku, he had Moore, he had Connor, he had Marquise Brown. He had all those injured or out, and my defense also got 19 points against Miami, which was pretty lucky. I would say what makes Hunter more unlucky than Logan, even though Logan would claim he's the most unlucky, is that this was a huge matchup for Hunter, and he couldn't pull it out. Luckiest was me for the same reasons. I only won by 5. Big matchup, Hunter's buys, and my defense also got 19. Dumbest move was Ashton starting Hayden Hurst and Jeff Wilson over Najee and Lazard. I mean, I could maybe see Jeff Wilson getting a start there, but why Hayden Hurst? Why would you start like the 11th best tight end over Najee and Lazard? It's inexcusable. Inexcusable. Smartest move was Hunter just by default. I mean, Hunter did have a good week despite all those buys because he started Shark, he started Garrett Wilson, he started Gallup, he started Ty Johnson, picked him up and started Ty Johnson. I would say all around Hunter's smartest moves this week, mostly the Ty Johnson thing. So well played. Best free agent / free agent pickup was Dylan picking up Greg Zerliner, who put up like 29 points or like 21 at least, something like that, as his kicker. And is now, I think, the number 1 kicker, and Dill just picked him up. That was actually a big pickup for a playoff team here. Most annoying player was definitely Hunter. He was talking a lot of trash at Summits. He, for some reason, clearly thought he had won after the 1 o'clock games. Doug tells me that he was talking during the 4 o'clock games. He was saying, he basically wrote me off. He's like, so I just beat Cameron. Now, next week, you're going to beat him, and then he's out of the playoffs. Hunter was just being so disrespectful to the fantasy gods, and they rewarded him for that. I don't know how many times Hunter has to learn this lesson. Every single time Hunter's team shows a little bit of life, he gets insanely cocky. He starts thinking he's already won, and then he just gets slapped down by the fantasy gods. It happens every time. So anyway, Hunter wins most annoying for sure. And then he also kind of talked a little trash to me after I beat him about all the lucky stuff. But anyway, Alec's stock is falling. He looks bad. His team's bad. He's got a bad tattoo, and he's dropping out of the playoffs again. He's never made the playoffs in fantasy football. He has started hot. He changed his name to Late Game Has Begun, which was stupid, and now he's basically out of the playoffs. So that's pretty hilarious. Stock falling. Stock rising is Dylan. 2 wins in a row. Big comeback. He started off hot, then went down. Everyone questioned, especially me, if he was really in the game. And now he's come back and he's playoff bound as long as he wins this week. Best player is just Doug because he scored the highest. There really wasn't that much crazy stuff that happened this week, so Doug just gets it for being the highest. Worst is Ashton, second lowest score, and he did 2 horrendous moves. Hayden Hurst and Jeff Wilson. Why? He also listens to Chelsea Cutler. I don't know why. Who got that dog in him? I did. I put Hunter in a tough spot now. He's on the fringe of playoffs. He's looking in. And I was just a quiet assassin doing the fantasy gods work. Again, Hunter was just, oh, well, I've beaten Cameron now. It's the beginning of the 4 o'clock games. I won this. So let's talk about next week. You can't do that. That's extremely bad karma. Here we go with this. Hunter gets his third annoying. You see, Hunter gets, I don't even know. You guys can look at it later. Ash surprisingly gets his first worst team. So anyway, that's actually shocking. This is our rankings this week. I'm putting Khan above Bobby because Bobby lost Ken Walker. Putting Greg still at third. Me, I hopped over Will this week with my win. Dylan's moving up, and everything else is kind of the same. Logan's still above Ash. So anyway, let's see. You guys also need to notice this is my tiers. The subtlety in these, like the dark green for the best too. I think they're in a tier of their own. Greg is kind of in that second tier by himself, and then us four are sort of in this pretty good tier, and then those three are kind of pretty bad, and Logan Ashton are historically bad. Next week's worst matchup is Bobby versus Logan. Bobby is a lock, and Logan is bad. Bobby wins, I predict. Next week's best matchup is Hunter versus Will. The winner will make playoffs. The loser will not, most likely. And it's a big rivalry, them two. So I predict Hunter will win. Season segment, Copium. Logan for complaining about my ranking system. 1 Copium dab. Logan for saying he's making a huge comeback next year. 2 Copium dabs. That's big time Copium. Alec for saying he can bench more than Hunter and Will. 3 lines of Copium. He actually sent me a video of him failing to bench a 45 and a 25. So Greg for texting me saying he's been joking about Gabe Davis, 2 Copiums. Connor for defending Matt Ryan after he blew the game and threw 3 picks in a row. I watched Matt Ryan throw 3 picks in a row, blowing the game, getting killed by Dallas by what was like 20 or 25. And Khan's response to that is, well, it's the offensive line. All right, that's big time Copium. Con for defending Cam Akers and blaming Sean McVay. 1 Copium injection. He loves Cam Akers. Now, could it be Sean McVay's fault? I kind of doubt it, but either way, it's Copium. Con for saying Matt Ryan was sticking it to the Cowboys. 1 Copium injection. Hunter for saying he would have beaten me without buys. 3 Copium dabs. Now, that might have been true, but I mean, it's still Copium either way. It's how he's coping with the loss. Con wins with 5 injections. Greg will do dabs. Greg for actually getting dabs, 10 dabs. Alec for sending me a video of him benching where he fails to do any notable amount of weight, 10 dabs. Bobby for trashing the Saraday's house and then leaving to go to Baltimore, I believe. 12 dabs. Hunter told me about that. Hunter had to clean that up. Hunter for kicking the ball at Greg's head. 6 dabs. You had to be there. Hunter just kicked a soccer ball. Greg was just standing in the middle of nowhere, and Hunter just kicked a soccer ball right at his head for no reason. 6 dabs. Hunter for his blatant disrespect for the fantasy gods. 50 dabs. Hunter for thinking he's won before the 4 o'clock games are over. 20 dabs. Will for not being a fan of basketball, he says. 5 dabs. Will for not going to a Hawks game because he doesn't like basketball. 11 dabs. That's not the point. A lot of people don't like basketball games and still go. We're hanging out. Logan for thinking I give a point per win. 9 dabs. Logan thought that, like in my ranking system. Con for his inexplicable love for Matt Ryan. 18 dabs. Hunter wins with 76 dabs this week. I didn't think Davante Adams would be as good as he's been. That's where I was wrong, but he's been nasty. I think Doug will definitely beat me this week. I have a little bit of a depleted roster. So lock, Doug's going to beat me. Didn't have any TikToks. In most need of a steady relationship. You want to see these pictures, Kevin? In need of a steady relationship, I give Hunter 1. Hunter needs a girl to really, help him out. That's Logan and his old girlfriend. Dylan, big time. He needs someone. Connor. Yeah, Connor needs a steady girl. Bobby needs to get it together. Will. He needs a girl to tell him to shave the mustache. Logan, that's obvious. Doug doesn't really need no woman. Sam, I'm assuming kind of needs one because he doesn't do anything. Alec needs no woman should be within 10 feet of Alec. Greg doesn't need no woman, and then me and Ashton are already in a relationship. Crazy that out of 12 people in this league, me and Ashton are the only ones. That is nuts. I'm keeping with a little bit of a camera broker theme in this video. Fantasy picture rankings. So the picture, you guys' profile pictures, I'm ranking those. Greg is a good picture of Leo. Great picture of Leo, really. Good job, Greg. Dylan, really good picture of Misty. Me, really good picture of Jewel on mine. Connor, really good picture of Shooter McGavin. Sam also has a good cat. Will's picture is a really good picture that I took, but it's not a cat. So it's therefore down there. Bobby's, can't remember what Bobby's is off the top of my head. Ashton is just a dumb picture of him. Doug's is a picture of Chris Godwin, maybe, which is kind of a silly joke. Logan's is really stupid. Alex is really stupid. And I have no idea what's going on in Hunter's picture. So, fantasy name ranks. Cam Andrew, this L is definitely number one. Greg comes in with Giles with the one. That's really nice. Doug is just simple. I like it. Duh. Strand, simple. Like it. Now, if I was counting Fledge as your name, it would be at the bottom, but it's not. I'm not. Don't even know what Sam's is, but that kind of makes sense to me. Hot Chub Time Machine. Yeah, that's like the first name that comes up when you Google good fantasy football names is Hot Chub Time Machine because of Nick Chubb. Dylan's honestly should be lower. Osama bin Laden is super dumb. Logan's is the Jackson 9. He doesn't even like Lamar Jackson. Pat McCrotch as Khan. Not personally a big fan of that. Late game has begun. He's really dumb, especially considering that Alec has been historically horrible in late game scenarios in the playoffs or in fantasy. Salah was taken, super dumb. No one even knows what Salah means, and if you Google it, no one even knows what it means. So, and then a little Slippy 12 is insanely stupid. Who I'd want to win the championship? Me, obviously. Bobby, because I could just be like, oh, his doesn't even count. He didn't even draft his team, so that doesn't mean anything. Greg, I think, deserves it the most after me. Logan, I don't know. Logan, I would just pick because it'd be such an insane comeback. Ashton would be an insane comeback too, so I kind of like to see that. Will, I don't see Will as much as everybody else, so I wouldn't mind too much if he won. He wouldn't talk too much trash. Dylan wouldn't want to see it. Sam doesn't do anything, and I wouldn't want to see that. Doug, no chance. Hunter would be like Hunter would probably, I don't even know, put it on his resume that he won and just like never stop talking about it. Connor and Alec. Enough said. All right, guys, that was 12 minutes, and yeah, let's ride.